You know what Jessie Ware is to me? She's like a Jimmy Butler, bro. Anytime, like you don't really think about Jessie Ware like on a day-to-day basis.
And then she pops up.
But then she drops a project and you're like, wait, hold on, is this the best thing that came out this year? Like every time though. All right, welcome back, people. This is Sound Bites. I'm here with Adriel Smiley, aka Mr. Smiley, aka Adriel Smiley Official, aka The Godfather. And you're also here with His Royal Highness, King Grant. We're back, Sound Bites, talking about the music, culture, the internet, how those all intertwine to create the music industry, culture that we're talking about today. Adriel, we're at the beginning of July. You know, everybody does this at the beginning of June for whatever reason.
Yeah.
5 months in, technically. But we're now officially crossing the threshold to 6 months being finished. And now we are finally talking about our best album so far. Best album so far. This is just like when we do top 10 albums of the year. Everybody does that at the beginning of December. And we're like, actually, we wait till the end of December. And that's how we caught SZA in one of them.
Facts.
And that's how I think we also did Playboy Cardi. Remember? Because it came out on Christmas,
a whole lot of
right?
red, yeah.
So the way we do it
is the way it should be done.
Is the correct way.
Yes.
Is the correct way because those albums get left out of the mix. Right? So this year I would say it's been an interesting one.
I think it's been a good year for music. I think
good year for music, I agree.
Yeah, I think what people feel like is lacking and missing is music from some of the bigger names. But I think this goes back probably a decade, but the biggest names have not always been making the best music. There's been a lot of great albums coming from artists who are not the biggest names.
Yeah.
And I think this is another year like that.
Yeah, me too. And I also think that because hip hop is a predominant genre currently, that it kind of, to a lot of people, it feels like, oh, this year kind of sucks, or it seems like it's kind of a boring year for music. But I'm like, if you just step outside, just take one or two steps to the side of hip hop, one or two steps to the side, and you're in a different zone. You're in a disco zone, you're in a pop zone, R&B, all that good stuff. Then you're like, oh shit, this is like a lot of good stuff happening out here. I do think that there's been a little bit of catch up in hip hop recently. Uzi dropped, Thug dropped, Gunna dropped, Travis Scott on the way, allegedly J. Cole on the way. Allegedly. So there's still Drake. Drake is definitely on the way as well. So
I like they said definitely for Drake. Like Drake ain't just going to lie.
That's true. Drake is definitely postponed. Remember when Views? Remember when it's called Views from the Six?
Yes.
Then it just became Views. So yeah. So we're here doing our best album so far. We're doing 5 each. Unless you have a little honorable mentions, a couple of one or twos you have to throw in there, but you go, take it away. You can go first.
Okay, so I'll start with my honorable mentions.
Yep.
And these are the songs that didn't make the list. Now I got to say this: do you want me to go my full 5?
Or we can go back and forth.
Okay,
we'll
do back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll be quick.
It won't be too long though.
My honorable mentions. These are albums that I definitely thought about, but I had like 3 or 4 that were just like these are the top, and then figure out how to round it out. Cracker Island, Gorillaz, Lovesick, Don Toliver, Larry June, The Great Escape, Conway the Machine, Won't He Do It, Rory, I Thought It'd Be Different, and then Killer Mike Michael.
Holy shit, we are on 2 different wavelengths.
Those are my honorable mentions. It was hard not to include Killer Mike Michael. I think that may be one that makes it towards my end of the year list.
Yep.
You know, because that album is already aging well, but just because it is pretty new, I felt like that hurt it in this sense. But those are my honorable mentions to people that didn't make the cut.
Right. Okay. So you're on a different wavelength than me because I'm going to be honest with you. Everything you just mentioned did not make my much
honorable mentions.
No, not at all. And
did he even consider?
Not really. No. Well, maybe the Larry June, but I didn't think it was best so far. Some of my honorable mentions. I have K-Tremine, and I have Yeet, Afterlife. Okay. Very high on Afterlife. Those are my honorable mentions. Yeet definitely could have snuck in to my early 5.
Yeah.
This one I'm gonna call it my early 5.
Early 5. I like
into
that.
the early 5, but he has not yet. Could finish top 10 though.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have the Arlo Parks project, My Soft Machine.
That hurts.
Okay. That's also in the honorable mentions.
That's in my 5.
Okay.
I'll spoil it. It's in my 5.
Okay. Do you want to go your first of the 5, or you want me to go first of my 5?
I'll go first. Mine is not in any order, and these are my personal 5. I think for the halfway point, I really wanted to go with albums that either I listen to somewhat often or albums that I just like more. So in no particular order, my first one is Jack Harlow, Jackman.
Okay.
Super slept on project. I think that's just one of the best rap projects this year. And it really speaks for itself.
Yeah, I would say that's on my list too. Right? Jack Harlow, Jackman. Songs like Gang Gang, which we called early.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a music video and people keep talking about it. I think the music video actually helped proliferate it.
I think so. I think people didn't all know the song until the music video. Yeah, I think that helped.
Exactly. So I think, when it first came out, people were like, oh, Gang Gang is like, that's a pretty interesting song. And then the music video, people are like, what the fuck? And then people are like, you read the lyrics, he's actually not saying, you know what I mean?
You know the internet.
Yeah. So that was definitely a standout. Denver, shout out to Denver.
Yep. I like Denver a lot.
Denver is a good song. Also, they won the NBA championship. They're winning right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that project a lot. I wish he was wearing a shirt on the cover, but that's okay. I don't know if I want to see Jack Harlow all over in my top 10, but he's there. He's definitely on the list for me too. All right, your next one, because so far we have the same.
I can almost guarantee you don't have this one, and this one is probably the album that made me think of this as my personal list. Because when I went to listen to this album, I said, this album aged better than I thought.
Okay. That's
Lil Yachty. Let's Start Here.
Wow.
I was like, let me go back and listen to this. Was I crazy for even giving this album the rating that I did? And I don't think so. I think Lil Yachty is on the opposite of Jack Harlow and maybe being too kind of not promoting his album as much. No videos, things like that. But this album, I think, sonically still stands. So Lil Yachty, Let's Start Here. Okay. Part of my early 5.
You were big on it when it came out too.
I was.
Yeah, you were definitely more into it than I was when it first came out. I have turned back to it just to listen to it a couple more times. I still think it's good, but I don't love it. I don't love it enough for the early 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't love it enough for the early 5. Okay, next one. One that I think most people would not guess.
Let's see.
But Split Decision. Dave and Central C.
You're really gonna count that?
I'm counting that. What do you mean? How can I not count it? Because it's. Why can't I count it?
It was too short for me to count. I feel like even for the Polaris Prize, EP at least has to be 5 songs to win. So
okay,
I think it's a good choice though. Good project.
Okay, I think that it's a great meeting of the minds. I think Central C brings a lot out of Dave, allowing Dave to be a much more loose, much more braggadocious, much more fun. The Sprinter, we were talking about songs of the summer. That's not number 1, but it's definitely top 5, I feel.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's in the song of the summer category. Great lyricism, great hooks. We've covered it in multiple different ways. TikTok shorts, videos, et cetera, et cetera. It's good stuff. So that's on my list. The early 5, one of the early 5. What's up next for you?
I like that choice, but it is kind of weird having an EP in your early 5.
Are there any
on album mode?
I don't even think there's really any other EPs that really came out.
No, they came out. We probably didn't review them.
Yeah.
Other one you mentioned in your honorable mentions, Arlo Parks, My Soft Machine. I listen to this album pretty often still, and Arlo Parks is still Arlo Parks. Will always get my respect. So it's an easy choice for me.
Okay. Yeah, I like that album too. I feel like it could go up into like a top 10 for me. I think it could fit the top 10. Okay. My next one. This one is surprised me genuinely.
Interesting.
Paramore, This Is Why. I think that album is really fucking good.
yeah, and it is.
I'm actually I was went on the review.
Yeah.
I was genuinely surprised that I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's so good.
Disrespectfully surprised.
If you want to say that, sure. But it probably came across in the audio. I don't think we were doing the video back then. But it came across in the audio, so I'm like, yo, why is this so good? I can't believe this track is so good. Like, the hooks are good. I love the aesthetic, all this stuff. I still love it. I turned it on. I put it on like a couple of times over the past week, and I'm like, it still slaps. I have it on vinyl.
It still bangs.
You
have the vinyl?
I have it on vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't even understand it. I don't even fully understand it, but I do love it. So it's in my list, believe it or not.
Now that's a good addition. They came across my FYP on TikTok, and so I kind of got inspired to go back, and I was like, still slaps.
Yeah.
Still slaps. I like that one a lot. This one I have next, I assumed you would have in your 5. So if you don't have in your 5 or your honorable mentions, I don't know you at all. Red Moon and Venus.
Oh my God.
Kali Uchis.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that one. I would say this is probably the album I listen to the most.
Yes.
Out of any album we've reviewed.
Yep.
So
that is, I would even say right now, that is my number 1 right now.
Yeah.
That's my number 1 right now. I'm pretty much everything else is trying to dethrone it.
Damn. Good luck.
Yeah. Again, that's also something I already have it on vinyl. I already got it. I think that, Kali Uchis, this is probably going to be even better in the summer because it's going to be hot as fuck this summer. And I think that her music is perfectly suited for extremely hot weather. That melting aesthetic, the feature with Summer Walker, Roses. So many good tracks.
Yeah.
There's so many good tracks on it. Also doesn't overstay its welcome either. The track with Don Toliver, I love. There's a lot of tracks that I love.
It's vibes.
Yeah.
It's vibes.
And then my last one, because I think this is number 5. My last one I have right here is Janelle Monáe,
Wow.
Age of Pleasure.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
Are you?
I'm very surprised.
I like that project a lot. It was a no skips, I believe. Or I had it as a no skips.
No, it's a no skips.
It's hot in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Sweaty, multiple ways. And
saying you got some plans this summer.
It's gonna get hot and heavy in the summer, okay? And I think that the project overall melds R&B, melds this pop, reggae, dance. Like there's a lot of good, just a lot of interesting things happening overall. A lot of good songs. I always feel like I'm in it's a vibe.
No, it's a bop. It's a bop.
Big time vibes all the time. And you can play it on repeat a lot by accident, which I've done.
I would say these last two, like Kali Uchis and Janelle Monáe, albums you can play all the way through and it be a vibe.
Yeah.
In the summertime. That's a good thing for an album, I think. Both of those, and they're complete different vibes.
Yeah.
But both are straight vibes on the summertime. This one I have at number 1 in my unranked list that you did not have in your honorable mentions, nor on your list, nor did we review this project.
Okay.
And I guess technically I was gonna say I'm joining you in the EP thing, but this one is I think 7 songs or 8 songs, so not the same. But Venna, Equinox.
Oh.
Yeah, I like this project a lot. Listen to this project pretty often. I'm excited to hear more from Venna. And this goes into that same thing you said about Janelle Monáe, about Kali Uchis. This one is a vibe. You can put this album, this EP on, go all the way through. So yeah, if y'all haven't heard that Equinox project, please tap into that.
Okay. I will make sure I do because I have not heard it.
Oh yeah. Producer out of the UK. Nux is on the project. But yeah, it's good.
I'm sold already.
Yeah. I know my audience.
I'm sold already. One more project that I forgot to mention was Jessie Ware, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
This Is Fun. Is that I want to make sure I have the album 100%, but I believe it's like something like This Is Fun.
Yeah, something like that. Jessie Ware,
the disco. I mean, she's, you know what Jessie Ware is to me? She's like a Jimmy Butler, bro. Anytime, like you don't really think about Jessie Ware like on a day-to-day basis.
And then she pops up.
But then she drops a project and you're like, wait, hold on, is this the best thing that came out this year? Like every time though. And it's just like Jimmy Butler.
The project's called That Feels Good.
That Feels Good, right? Just like the previous album, when it came out, like you don't think about her. That's the thing. You don't think about her. The project comes out and you're like, yo, this shit might be the best thing that happened this year. And that happens every time. Just like that's why I'm like, she's like Jimmy Butler. Is like, it's okay, it's okay. And then the playoffs comes around, it's like, yo, this guy is actually just the best player in the league. He's just out here destroying people, mean mugging people, and I feel like Jessie Ware is actually extremely similar.
Where else can you find that comparison? I think this is why you have to subscribe to the Album Mode podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to see someone compare Jessie Ware
to Jimmy Butler. It only happens here. Where else would you ever hear somebody say that?
Never.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that Jessie Ware, I would say she's going to be in the top 10 list for me.
Wow.
She's an honorable mention, but like super strong. She's like like I had the 5 already. She's like the 5.1. Like she just like is just waiting for somebody to slip up, or she's just waiting for me to go back and listen and be like, no. She's definitely up there.
Before we move on to talking about everyone's new favorite pop star, I think that these albums that we have in our early 5 is, a part of kind of just how the year has been. It is currently the summertime. For all y'all who are not living in Toronto, it is
hot.
HAWT hot in Toronto. And so I think that some of our listening kind of fits into that, as well as this summertime, city boy summer, city girl summer, whatever that is. And I'm interested to see how some of these albums age as the weather changes.
Oh,
I think that's going to be interesting, because some of the albums that we hear in the fall and kind of in the winter, different vibes.
Yeah.
Than the albums that we hear now. So how many of those, fall, winter albums will make our 5? Or when we're doing this on December 28th, will our whole top 10 sound like summer? So
okay, yeah,
interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I haven't considered that, but now that you bring it up, I will be paying attention to it.
I feel like both of our lists are very
summer inspired.
Even Paramore, the album feels kind of summery.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we'll keep that in the back of our back of our heads, and we'll come back around to it. I think that'll be interesting.
Let's talk about your boy.
Do we have to? So we lucked out the previous time where we didn't have to talk about The Idol because there was more pertinent things happening. And we have reached the season, probably series finale, I'm going to be honest with you, where The Idol is over. Joss was revealed. I mean, this last episode, the last episode, Joss basically
Uno reverse card.
She put exactly. The Uno reverse card came out, and all of a sudden, the meek, small, teary person that we once knew became this authoritative, commanding, demanding person in the wake, or not in the wake, in the lead up to talking to, I want to say the concert coordinator for her project, and basically sets up her own like internal show. All the people that Tedros brought to the house, she has commandeered them, mutiny style, bro. She just totally took over whatever was happening. You guys are gonna be my openers, and then I'm gonna sing after, and we're gonna put on the biggest show of our lives, etc., etc. The show, the quote unquote biggest show of their lives, happens.
That was nuts.
Tedros strung out. And when I say strung out, I mean,
I wish I could remember what her manager called him.
Oh yeah, I don't.
It was such a good line. Yeah. It was such a good line.
But he was like sweaty something.
Yeah.
But he was sweating like crazy. The rat tail going crazy. And yeah, so Joss actually took over. She basically stole what is the Weeknd's character's name? Tedros's talent, and basically pulled the Uno reverse card. Now she's telling him to fuck off.
Yeah.
Paying her management, or getting her management to pay for him to disappear.
Crazy.
Yeah. And all of a sudden now she is somehow totally in command of everything. The episode ends as the concert begins. The tour is beginning. Tedros ends up meeting. Why can't I remember her name? Joss.
Yeah.
In the back room. Ends up meeting Joss in the back room, and she's like brushing her hair and getting ready and stuff like that. And then Tedros sees the brush and is like, "Isn't this you said the brush that your mother abused you with? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, but it's brand new. And then there's supposed to be like this moment where you're like, oh, she thought of the entire thing. Like she thought of it. It was all planned from the beginning.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
What are you talking about, bro? That was the...
Yeah.
When I say I was offended, like I don't get offended by it. Like I was offended.
No, they're offending our intelligence.
Yeah,
with that
like
one.
what the fuck?
I think the interesting thing to me that I've really thought about a lot with this finale is that the rumor or the story is that this series was shot originally and it was apparently way too much from the woman's perspective, according to Abel and Sam. And so it was rewritten, reshot, redone to be more male facing. And that's, I think, kind of why it turned out the way it did. And my thought has been in that first, edition of the show, did we get more of her amazing scheme and plan that she pulled together? I doubt it, but maybe that's part of it. And here's my thing. You said, probably series finale. HBO has come out and said that they haven't decided yet. That seems like cap, but it seems they haven't decided yet. But now to see this ending, I actually do want to see a season 2.
Please. Oh my God.
No, I do want to see the season 2 because it may be another hate watch and another version of self-harm, if I'm being honest. but think about how we watched, him terrorize her and assault her for all these episodes. And I think there would be some kind of anticipation of the fans to see her return the favor. Right. I do think people would like to see that because even in the beginning of this episode where she kind of gets at him right at the beginning and says, I don't need you anymore. Get out of my house. I think some people liked that and like, okay, she's standing up for herself. She's showing him who's boss. So I think there would be some appetite for, her kind of returning the favor. What did you think about the scene where they had that, show to save the world? Or show...
I thought it was awesome. Inside of her house, I thought that scene, I actually thought that scene is good. I thought it was really good. Here's the thing with me in the show. I think the actors are actually phenomenal, except for The Weeknd.
Just him.
No, yeah, seriously. I'm being totally honest. I think the Joss, Lily Rose Depp, I think she's doing a great job. I think the manager is doing a great job. Yeah. Destiny, the black woman, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think Troye Sivan, doing great as the creative director. I thought he was doing good too. Who else did I think was doing really well? Joss's best friend, the manager, got her Leia.
Yep.
Phenomenal. She's actually incredible.
No, we love Leia.
She's doing great. So I'm like, I like a lot of the actors. I like what all the actors are doing. I hate the writing. It's actually just brutal.
I think it gets over the top, especially with how sexual they were being. Like that scene where Tedros goes, if you got to suck him to keep him, suck him. Yeah. Keep him. And you're like, yo. And that a woman shows up to start off that scene and she goes, want to go upstairs? Yeah. And it's stuff like that is okay, we get it, doing overboard. But I like that scene a lot. I think that the missed opportunity with this was, integrating the rest of the musician. That's why I do think there is some space for season 2 because integrating the rest of the musicians, they all have their own careers that we could see happen. I'm sure that there's, possibility for a spinoff to see how they end up. I think there's even more to see in more of Joss's career. We don't really know that much about Joss still. And even with what happened in this final episode of the brand new Brush, it's now it's more what do we even believe from what we know from Joss? So I think there's kind of some unanswered questions there of do we want to know more about Joss, more about these musicians? And I do think these shows that are very much music industry adjacent usually do well, or even just celebrity adjacent. I think about a show like Entourage, even Empire. These kind of shows do very well. And I think leaning into that would do better because all the scenes that were, not say all the scenes, but a lot of the scenes where it's based on their actual talent, them singing or trying to make it in the industry, those scenes usually are bearable. Yeah. And I think it was the other stuff that was making it very cringeworthy. Yeah. So I think, if they lean more into she's an artist. Let's see how her tour does. How does her career blossom? There's something there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I'm interested in watching it, to be quite honest. I think that...
You wouldn't watch a season 2?
I would.
You would watch a season 2,
I would watch,
man.
I would watch season 2, episode 1.
You would watch the whole season.
And if season 2, episode 1 didn't do
That's
it...
the cap, bro.
No.
You're watching the whole season.
The thing, okay, here...
Episode 1, you were here defending him as if like...
Because I gave him the benefit of the doubt, okay? I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but it's been 5 episodes. It's been 5 hours, 5 episodes. I don't need to give anybody the benefit of the doubt anymore, okay? I've seen what people can do. I'm not impressed. I think the ending was actually like, when I say offensive, I'm like, it's basically like it was all a dream. Like everything she said, she lied from everything.
Kind of, yeah.
But it's not believable. Also, he touched the broom before, right? Remember in episode 3, he told her to go get the broom, and then they did whatever.
Yeah, so he would have noticed the brush is brand new, you're saying. I agree with you. I agree with you.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, there's no consistency. It's only been 5 episodes, and I'm talking about a consistency error, which is a major plot point, obviously, because it was like the whole twist at the end. So for that to be like one of the biggest holes, I'm like, what the fuck? Like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I love the actors. I love the actors. The manager team,
they're good.
They're so good. Awesome. I love the old woman, the concert dude, Destiny, the other manager. Like I love that cadre of people. They have an excellent comedy dynamic going on. The Weeknd. I love your music. I love your music.
I kind of want to give them a shot to like explain what it is that they're trying to say about her having this all thought out or whatever, because her creative director was in on it, her manager was in on it. Like, did they hunt down Tedros? You know, it really doesn't make sense of like she thought it out the whole time. What makes more sense is that she realized what was going on and kind of turned, and when her ex Rob showed up was around the moment when she said, "Okay, he's kind of controlling me." But I think you're right. The idea that she had this whole master
grand
plan,
scheme? Like
moving
no
like
way.
Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
No way.
I'm not buying any of that. But I do want to give them the chance to explain it. I don't think that it's right how we're thinking it is, and there may be some nuance of, again, halfway through she was like, "No, this is not right. Like I like being choked, but chill out, fam."
Yeah.
So I think there's something there.
That's it. Season 2, episode 1. That's all I would give it.
You're watching the whole thing, man. You're a Weeknd fan. You can't help yourself.
No, I can't do it.
Last thing I'm gonna say about this show and like kind of the season as a whole, I think that there is a spot for a show like this.
Yeah,
I do think that they just really fumbled this bag.
Me too.
And I think that whatever show comes next that's along these lines, and I'm bringing up Entourage again. I always think about a show like Entourage because Entourage was before our time. We were basically kids when Entourage was out. But that was a show that really kind of tried to show people what celebrity lifestyle was like. But mixed in like enough real celebrities that it almost felt like realistic.
Yep.
And I think that The Idol had a chance at that. And I think about like
Mike Dean's in it.
That's my point. Mike Dean being in it. As she was on tour, there's sprinkle in whatever celebrity you could think of to do a song with her or come visit her in a certain city. And so I think that type of show that is trying to showing celebrity lifestyle, but still sprinkling in enough real celebrities that it's, kind of a blend.
Yeah.
Because, 2023, celebrity lifestyle can take many different forms.
True.
And her as a pop star, I think, is one of the last ways that it can still be kind of like Entourage, how he's a movie star. If you had a celebrity lifestyle show and it was someone who was an influencer selling tummy teas, I don't think it would be the same vibe.
Yeah. No, not really.
I don't think you want to follow that life as much. But, her as a touring, huge pop artist.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I think there's something there. So hopefully we get a season 2 that's a lot better. And if not, I hope they didn't deter any other shows of this ilk coming out, because I do think whoever does this properly, this kind of show,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, look at Entourage. Entourage is like the primo example.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to love the Idol because I also love Euphoria, and Sam Levinson was the director / writer for both of these. So, and I love The Weeknd, so I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be good. Okay,
this is the last bit, and this may be for the TikTok. Okay, now Euphoria. Drake was executive producer on that.
Yep.
The Idol, The Weeknd executive producer.
Yeah.
Now I know the Drake and The Weeknd are not beefing anymore.
Yeah.
But away from music, who's up right now?
Drake undoubtedly is up.
I just wanted to make sure we got that.
Right.
Clear.
Euphoria, I mean, first of all, we don't even know if there's gonna be another season of Euphoria just because it takes so long to fucking make it.
There's one more season.
No, but I'm saying
after the season, you mean?
Look at how popular the entire cast has gotten. Contract renegotiations are going to be insane.
I think this is the last season they said already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they can afford next season.
Yeah, sure. I'm like the people. Zendaya is like she's just out. She's outgrown the show. Basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that Euphoria, I love it. I love American Skims 2.0.
Yep.
I love that show. And I would love to watch more of it. I thought The Idol looked great, but c'est la vie. I wish it was better. Drake is up.
Drake is up for sure.
Okay. This last part I wanted to talk to you about. Flyana Boss.
Yeah.
Right? These two girls on TikTok are just sprinting down everywhere. Literally everywhere. I've seen them Disney World, seen them in Walmart, I've seen them everywhere outside. If you don't know it's this TikTok trend. I don't know if it's fully a trend.
It's not.
But it's this group of these two girls, right, that have this song that are basically it's called You Wish, right? Yep. And they basically found a section of their song, the 15-second, where it's them going back and forth and have just taken over the TikToks, bro. Every video for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks has 5 million views, and it's just an iteration of them running into the camera and rapping their verse. And then
a lot of running.
A lot of
running.
How have you felt about this trend or this one song that I feel like is just taking over the feed? Yeah. Oh.
Chris hates the song. Chris said, I can't fucking stand that song.
Oh my God. No, it's all good. This is our last thing. The switcher? Yeah, that's fine.
Switcher is fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, just leave me back in and then.
No, totally fine. Yeah, it's all good. Our last part anyways, so. Oh, okay, sick.
Amazing.
Okay. So how do you feel about these two girls that are running through everybody's timeline into the camera?
I'm happy for them, honestly, because this is what every artist hears they have to do to get popping, make these viral videos, find the snippet in your song that's the most catchy. So this is evidence that clearly is working for them. I am a little bit worried because I think that I'm seeing a lot of people write a lot about this, a lot of think pieces about these are the girls running all over your TikTok page. And so clearly that means that it's working because there's so many articles being written about them. But I don't want this thing to be bigger than them as artists. And, even this one song, You Wish, is doing well for them, 5 million plays on Spotify. But basically their main I guess, source of viewing is happening from their TikTok.
Yeah.
And I would love for this to translate into their actual music careers. But as of now, it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Oh, okay. We're back at this. We're back at it where we were with Ice Spice. Do you think that they're going to make it? Yes or no?
I haven't heard enough of their music to say that. I can't really say.
Okay,
their music could just not be good. Their music could just not be good. I can't say how good their music is outside of this song.
Right. I will say that what they're doing on TikTok is literally like, this is TikTok 101 if you're an artist. Like, this is what your label is trying to tell you to do. This is what the internet's trying to tell you what to do. This is what your friends are trying to tell you what to do. It's like, find 15 seconds, the hottest 15 seconds in your song.
Yeah.
Try to find a way to spin it into a meme, trend, whatever. And this running into the screen thing has been totally, I mean, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's also cool though. The effect, I don't know how they link it up. Like it's always timed properly so that the first girl, when she's like Connect Kalon and Cinnamon, always runs into the next girl on time.
They're veterans. They've been running.
They've been running for weeks, so I guess they know it. But that combo, I'm just surprised how they figure out to line it up every time. There must be a secret. There has to be a secret for them lining it up every time.
That's the part that has you.
How are you at the county fair and running through a crowd, and then you're like, oh, there she is, like my best, and then switching up immediately? That's just that's a little bit. I don't know. I want to know the movie. I want to know the behind the scenes on that.
Yeah, I would like to know how they're actually getting all these videos done.
Right.
I would say this one song I do like. I think this is getting a lot of buzz for them.
Yeah.
So I think this, they could make it. But I'll say this, like, I feel like this is one of those things on TikTok that personally I see, and I'm just like, okay, cool, good song. But I wonder how many people are tapped into them as artists.
Okay.
And I think that's always my worry when it comes to these things that go viral, because there are a lot of artists who you know of them, but you know one song.
Right.
And you may see their name for interviews or other things online, and you know of them, but how many songs do you know by this person? One.
Coil Ray, allegedly.
Coil Ray is going on that path too.
Yeah.
And so that is my thing that I feel like we give a lot of, and it does hold value of name recognition of someone like Lil Boozy. I can name you maybe 2-3 Lil Boozy songs if you really put me to the test. But Lil Boozy is someone who you see him, you recognize him, you know his voice, you recognize him. He shows up online from time to time. So, like Jim Jones you mentioned last week. And there is some value in just you being a name we know. That it's like, okay, you're famous enough that we just know your name. But that does not always translate into album sales, like you mentioned, Coil Ray. So that's kind of my worry, is that for an up-and-coming artist, that's kind of almost the worst place to be, where we just know your name but don't give a shit about your music.
Right.
And these girls are not there yet, but that's kind of my worry, because this is one song. Take it to the moon, but we want to see something more.
Okay. I think that I'm curious as well. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Being able to get your music to trend like this, you can just be a standard artist in the industry and you're still trying to do shit like that. You know what I mean? So being able to actually break through to the point that we're currently talking about their one song on this podcast is a big deal. So I'm very much interested in their music video abilities. Also, where's the Nike sponsor? I feel like this is the easiest Nike sponsorship.
Oh, because they're running?
Yeah. Why don't you just slap them in some Nike gear and literally just do it again? Just do it again wearing the Nike gear. And that's your Nike sponsorship. I feel like that's like the easiest. They literally every video they've done in that style has like over 5 million views.
And you know what? I think this is kind of the divide between what's happening on the internet and what's happening off the internet. Because I would guarantee there's a lot of people like, Chris, our producer, who don't have any idea what this song is, who it is. And again, if you're on TikTok, this feels so massive.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of who's coming up, I think they haven't been there yet. And so again, that goes back to my worry. On TikTok, it feels like they're the biggest shit right now. It's, And it's like the song is not charting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know them by name.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't know it was two people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we love to be in the moment and it feels so big, but that's what I'm thinking about is what is the next step? Where does that grow? And again, I don't know what their careers were before this song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like right now they have over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah.
Other than this one song that has 5 million, they have another song that has 1 million plays.
Yep.
And a bunch of songs that have 300,000, 700,000, 400,000. So decently popular before then.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very interested to see how it goes because this is one of those things where it's like when you meet someone and you reference a TikTok they haven't seen.
Yeah.
And you go, listen, Linda. And they say, where is that from?
Huh?
Yeah, you know, and it's like this is, you know, adjacent to that. So I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
I love this for them. And we talked about how they're doing what they tell you to do on TikTok.
Yeah.
What they do next, we're gonna see if it's what they tell you to do. Because after you get the people, you get the eyes,
Mm-hmm.
parlaying that into a career. We saw Pink Panthers do it.
Yeah.
We see Ice Spice doing it. You know, we're gonna see this next step of are they gonna be, you know, following that path. So I think it's something we should be tuned in on.
Yeah.
To see what happens next because I'm very, very curious.
Yeah.
I'm very, very curious.
We would have been doing this about Pink Panthers if we were doing this segment back then because we were early.
Yep.
Early. Pink Panthers had 3 songs out and we were on Pink Panthers.
And then now to see where she is.
Yeah. So it can happen. It can happen like this. It can just be the one song that catches and you drop a second song and then I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And the third song and then you have like a legit fan base, right? People are coming up off of TikTok all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
Last 2 things and then we can wrap up.
Yep.
From what I see, they're signed to Atlantic. So that's a good sign.
Yep.
You know, the labels and TikTok are fornicating every week. So that's a great sign. This song, You Wish, that is 2 minutes long at 5 million plays. So we've probably heard the whole song. Like at this point with enough TikToks.
Yeah.
But they released it as part of a 2-pack. And the other half of the 2-pack has almost 400,000 plays.
Okay.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That people are just not, you know, totally ignoring the rest of their music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So label plus the other listens.
Yeah.
I think they're in good hands.
And they're a TikTok phenomenon right now, which is a nice spot to be. You would rather be a TikTok
than not.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking forward to Fly on a Boss, see what else that they're doing. All right, thank you everybody for tuning into Soundbites. The culture, internet, music part of the podcast where we're talking about all that good stuff and trying to figure out what the fuck is happening in music today.
Literally.
I want to say, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you, I was going to say rate, comment, and subscribe. And rate is like the beginning of YouTube where you're rating stuff out of 5 stars. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Album Mode. We're at 1.2 or 1.3 thousand subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's showing up, listening, watching, all that good stuff.
And leave us a rating in your podcast platforms.
Exactly. You know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you can find podcasts, we are there. And if you see the old Album Mode art, please send that to us so we can get that fixed because I have seen the old art.
Really?
And I'm like, the new art looks way better than the old art. Somebody please make sure that you tell me if you see the old art anywhere. And yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Album Mode Pod. And then we make sure you follow us on Twitter at Album Mode Pod. You follow us on TikTok at Album Mode Pod. And here on YouTube, we're also, guess what? At Album Mode Pod. Okay, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for watching. And Adriel, make sure you know yourself and know your worth.
Later days.